Hi, welcome to the Wild We TV. I'm your host, Janae Duane, and president and founder. So I'm sitting here with my board, and today's discussion is how do you delegate out, and really how do you find the right people to delegate out to? I mean, I don't know about these ladies, but there have been times where I've spent hours looking for the right person to do the right job, and including being on this board. And there's a reason why these women are on this board with me. They're handpicked, and they're picked for a reason. So I'd really love to hear from each of you how you find the right people. You know, who have you found? What can you recommend to people? This way they're not reinventing the wheel. Do you wanna start, Daryl?
Sure. I found that when I looked at my businesses, and I run a lot of businesses, a lot of them I'm more interested in the creative and the startup aspect of things right now. But what I looked at was certainly my web design stuff. I need to really start farming that out. I needed help with even my own decision-making process, so turn to say Kate to help me with some coaching on certain spots. I learned that I needed to spend more time with my accounting, getting that in order, but I didn't want to do it myself, so I was able to turn to Jessica, and you know, I certainly look at every area of my business and say, where are its weaknesses, right? And where are its strengths, and what people can I use to fill the weaknesses, and what ones are going to leverage my managerial skill to find the right people to take my direction, and then with their own just labor be able to take it to a further level than I could do just myself, for instance. So I identify strengths and weaknesses and then fill those accordingly.
Great.
And I definitely find that it makes a huge difference if you find someone who's an expert in that arena that you need to delegate. I certainly know a little bit about law, and I know a little bit about the legal things, but it makes much more sense to turn to someone like Exemplar, where they know what I don't even know. I find that most small business owners have had enough skill and knowledge to get to where they are, and they certainly know more than the average layperson. I mean, even the average layperson doesn't know nearly as much as the business owner. But at the same time, if the business owner can turn to that person who specializes and is immersed in that special arena, it makes so much more sense for them to leverage that person's expertise. And they then benefit. And they also are probably saving themselves phenomenal amounts of time, because in my business, we have a bookkeeping service, and I can't tell you how many people I've met that say, oh, it takes me 12, 14, 18 hours a month to do my bookkeeping, and they're doing it in Excel, and at the end of the day, they don't even have a profit and loss, so they have done all this work and put in all this effort for very little return, where they can turn to a company like ours and then actually spend less time, spend less money, and have more results for what they've invested.
And I also think that when part of the process of building those is building relationships with the people that become on your team, because basically that's what you're doing. You're building your advisory, you know, you may not have, some companies have a official advisory board, but others might not. And if you're building your team, your legal team, through a company like Exemplar, or your bookkeeping team with behind the scenes, it's just, you build that relationship. They're as interested in your success as you are. And that's what's really important, is to be able to find the people who do care about your success as much as you do when you're looking to outsource different areas, or, you know, pass things along and get those things taken care of in your business.
Now this goes exactly in line with what you're saying, and I think from personal experience that I've had more success finding people to work with me who have been in startups, who have entrepreneurial experience, versus people that come from the big corporate. And to me, that's one of the things that I learned the hard way, and hope that other entrepreneurs will look at and experience, because it's an entirely different mindset. Someone working in a big company with the resources, and they have their little job, and that's 9 to 5, then coming into a startup where you have to roll up your sleeves and work a little bit harder and have to shift a lot, and it can really throw a loop for any business if they don't have those people that really can handle that kind of pressure. And a lot of people think that they can, but it certainly helps. And every person that you have, whether it's an outside contractor or a vendor or a full-time employee, is so critical to a startup business that one mistake can really put your business under. So you better find the right people, and even vendors who have worked with startups, I think, are a lot easier in understanding your cash flow needs and other things that a new startup are going through than a big company who's used to working with larger companies. So if I have any advice, it's really look for and expand through your whole network of people that you know, groups like Wild We, who you can find people to bring in that can really jump in for you right away.
I would say in my line of work, finding the right people is slightly more difficult than people think. It's just easy when you talk about, outsourcing within other industries that you really need, like a bookkeeper or even a writer, because I can't write. But one of the toughest lessons I learned recently, that it's okay to go ahead and hire someone that doesn't have that much experience, because they want to learn, they want to see how you do things, and they want to help, and they're more eager and persistent in order to get the job done. So sometimes sometimes when I'm reviewing resumes, you could see how arrogant someone is over another person. But if you see that the person is genuinely sincere and really wants to learn and really wants to grow, then that's the better choice.
So I actually do think that professionals are an entrepreneur's best friends, because it really does free you up, and it's also really economical in that you don't have to give away equity to someone to get things done for your business. You get to handpick a professional who will be invested with you, and you really get it at a bargain. And I think that finding people is sort of difficult. I mean, usually it's through referrals. You find someone because you know other people have worked with them, and having a great organization like Wild We or like the Women's Congress really allows you to get into an organization where you get to form the relationships that Kate was talking about. You get to meet people, you get to hear from other people in the organization that have worked with them, and then you get to start that relationship. I also think something that people generally don't think about when they're choosing a vendor, another business, someone to work with, they sort of think it's just an out-of-pocket cost. And they don't realize that you're actually creating a wonderful referral source for yourself. You're creating someone who's constantly going to have you in mind, who's going to love to help you and see your business grow, and is going to send everyone your way. So it's just the best kind of relationship you can have for your business.
I love it. And if you notice, I mean, these women referred one another because of the fact that they met and started connecting and started networking, and now they use one another's services. I use Stephanie and refer Stephanie and Next Steph all the time. It's the same with Exemplar. It's the same with Behind the Scenes. It's the same with Coach Kate. I mean, and Women's Congress we have a very strong connection with. So it's these types of connections, but they start with personal connections. And I think that was touched upon, and it's true. And really, if you reach out and get to know people instead of trying to sell them every single time, and as women, we are natural connectors. So really making sure that you get to know them as a person, trust that is someone you want to work with. And then, like Jessica said, you're really building a referral base for a lifetime. And it's very valuable insight, ladies. Thank you. I really appreciate it. You've been watching The Wild We TV. If you'd like to hear more insights such as these, just go to www.thewildwetv.com. Have a great day, everyone.